Let's create a new project here. And I'm going to call this example 11. And here's my folder for example 11. Let me clean this one. And file new class. And this program here is going to compute distance, no space, and angle. I'll explain what I'm trying to do in a second here. Public static. So this program will ask the user, there we go, let's add some comments here. Ask the user to enter 2 points on a graph And when you enter the points, each point is going to have an x value and a y value. So each point is going to have x comma y. So for point 1 is going to be x1 and y1. For point 2 you're going to have x2 and y2. Once you have these values, we can find the distance. I'm going to calculate distance between them. And the distance, if you recall from algebra, it is the square root, I'll just do SQRT, square root of the change in x squared plus the change in y squared. And that's how we're going to calculate actually the distance between them. We're also going to calculate the angle of the slope. And the angle is going to be, we know tangent theta, tangent of the angle, I'm missing the A here, is equal to the rise over the run. I should have put this, the rise squared and the run squared. Actually, that's better. Instead of, this is the run, the change in x squared, and this is the rise squared, the change in y. And once we finish with that, I'm going to display the distance and the angle in degrees. So that's really what I'm going to try and do here in this program. And I'll use a scanner for this one. I'll change it to, so import what? Java.util.scanner. So here, so let's enter the 2 points here. Enter the 2 points. So how do we enter the 2 points? Well, first, let's think about these points. Can these points be decimal value? Sure. So it's really double. I'm going to call that x1, that's the x value of 0.1, equals input. I don't like what I'm doing here. Give me a second, I'll explain that. input dot next double. I left 2 lines out. Machine doesn't know what input is, so I got to specify that. I mean, anywhere before this. And as I said, I like to put it first thing first. Scanner. I'm going to call it input. You know what? Input's too much typing here. Scanner in, I'm going to call it. Scanner in equals new scanner system.in. So in is now my input device. I just don't want to write input or input device. That's too much writing. I said 2 things I forgot to do. This is one of them. And the other thing is, let me show you again what will happen when you run the program. It looks like it's not working. It is really working. It's just waiting for me to type a value here, because whatever I type there is going to go into X1. But how does the user supposed to know that you're looking for a number? There's no way of knowing that just from that picture. So what I should have done, syso enter the X value for 0.1. Maybe I'll do that. And if I'm going to do that, maybe again I'll do print instead of print line. And that'll give me the X value of 0.1. If I copy that, Command V, enter the Y value for 0.1 now. And that's going to go into Y1. So this is the first point. And let's do the second point. I can just copy both of these. Later in the course, we'll learn how to make a method so you don't have to copy and paste. You can just call it when you want to use it. We're not there yet. Enter the X value of 0.2 here. And that'll be X sub 2. And this is enter the Y value of 0.2. And that's Y sub 2. So we get the 2 values. So here we go. Ask the user to enter 2 points. We did. Check mark this. This is done. So this section here, compute distance. I meant to make this a remark there. Compute the distance. So again, let me define double, rise, comma, run. And the rise is going to be, it doesn't really matter if it's x1 minus x2 or x2 minus x1. So I'm going to go x2 minus x1. Well, if I do 2 minus 1, then the run up, that's the run, not the rise. The run is the x value, the rise is the y value. The rise equals y2 minus y1. So if you do 2 minus 1, it has to be 2 minus 1. And now I got to do the square root, the distance. Maybe I should define distance here. Since I already have double, let's call it distance. So my distance here is equal to, now I'm going to use the square root function, so I have to use math dot sqrt. That says go to the method math and pull the square root out of it. The square root of what? Well, it's going to be the rise squared and the run squared. Well, I can do that. Here we go, parentheses. I can do the rise square by going what? Rise times rise, that's the rise square, plus, I gotta do the run square. I'm gonna do the run different just to show you the two different ways. I can use the math dot power function, and I'm doing the run here. That's run to the power of 2. So when you square in something, that's the power of 2. So you can do the math.pow, or you can do a run times run. For this example, really run times run is easier, but I want to show you both since we're talking about some of the built-in methods. Math.pow is one of the ones. Math sqrt is another one. Notice this parentheses here closes this parenthesis, and this parentheses here closes that one, so I need a semicolon. Now, let me define double. Well, let's here compute the angle. So I'm going to do double. Double what? M, the slope, is the rise over the run. And actually, the angle is going to be the inverse tangent of that. So here we go. Double what? Angle. To get the angle is going to equal to math dot. Now, arc tangent I got to use. Arc tangent, A10, and A10 what? The slope, which is M. Take the inverse tangent of that problem. The problem with that, most of us, let's see what I wrote there. I want the angle in degrees. That angle right now, it's in radian. This will give me the angle in radian. So to convert that angle from radian to degrees, so I need to do this. Let the angle now equals, one more time, convert it from degrees to radian. So math dot 2 degrees, convert to degrees, and give it the angle in radian. Well, the angle was saved in location angle. So what this one is telling the computer to do, take whatever that angle here, which is in radian now, convert that to degrees, then when you're done with it, put it back into the same location. So that should give me the angle in radian. Now the last part, let's display the result. Display results. SysO, double quotation, the distance between the 2 points is, and let's put that distance plus distance. Maybe I'll put them on separate lines, so I'm not squishing everything in one place. SysO the angle of the slope is, and let's put here plus angle. Again, this might have 10 decimal places, whatever the calculation gives me. So if you want to actually, you know what you can do? You can round that. There's a built-in function here. it says, you know what? Let's do math dot round what? Parentheses, the angle times 100. So it's going to take whatever that angle, round it up if it's 5 or more, multiply it by 100, round it up. Then when you're done with it, divide it by 100. And that will convert it back to a decimal number with 2 decimal places. If you want to do 3 decimal places, multiply it by 1,000. I have, this one should not be here. The angle, math.round, the angle times 100 divided by 100. Again, that's 2 decimal places. I'm missing parentheses at the end to finish that print line. And now that should do it. I think I'm all set. I think this is going to work. Let's see. There's no way to know. I'm decent at programming, but you really can't tell if it's going to work till you run it. Enter the value for point 1. x1 is 5.2. x2 is 7.3. X value for point 2, 15. The y value for point 2, not -6. The distance between the 2 points is, and the angle of the slope is a negative angle, is coming down. Again, if you don't like that number being like this, we can apply that logic here. After you get the distance, sometimes to do all this in one step, it gets really confusing. So what you want to do, maybe go right here and go distance equals, you want to round it now. Let's say to 3 decimal places. Math.round. Take the distance. If you want 3 decimal places, multiply it by 1,000. Then when you get that, divide it by 1,000. And you should make that number decimal value. And this way, integer divided by real, automatically the value is real. So instead of having all these, I'm going to give you 3 decimal places for this now. I forgot to save it. X value is 2.3. Y value is 4.67. X value of 0.2, 5.19. The Y value 7.23. Here's the distance. The distance between the 2 points is 3.861. 3 decimal places. The angle of the slope is 41.53. So it did everything we're supposed to do. Notice how we took advantage of some of these math methods available for us. The power function, the SQRT, the ATAN, the round. All these are built-in functions. We can use them anytime we want to. There's plenty of them. You can Google that too to see what other functions out there.